Welcome everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you for joining me. If you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click it for me and help support my channel. I would really appreciate it. And as an added bonus, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world music, just like this. We're going to take a look at the new Bon Jovi record called 2020. It just came out on October 2nd of 2020, and it's the follow-up to 2016's This House Is Not For Sale. In this album here that we're talking about is the second album without Richie Sambora and 15th studio album overall, and a very timely one at that. The album itself was actually finished and ready to be released back on May 15th. However, of course, the pandemic hit and the album was postponed, and it gave John plenty of time to go back and rethink the tone and content of the album itself. And so there were also two major events, of course, that took place that altered the course of the album: the pandemic and then the killing of George Floyd. And so John wrote two new songs around those events and added them to the album. And in order to do that, it actually caused him to drop two songs from the album. The two songs that were initially listed as part of the track listing was the song Love Can and Shine. If you're interested, those songs are available on the Japanese edition, so you can check those out, but they are not currently on the standard edition. There's no deluxe editions that I could find anywhere out there from either the band website or typically like through Target, Walmart, or one of those sort of things. And so the two new songs, though, that he wrote did cause the song order to shift as well, and I found that to be fairly interesting, that not only was he adding the new songs, but it reshifted the content that was on it, and of course then it actually redirected the overall tone and feeling of the album. And John says that the album itself was always going to be a more political album anyway, simply due to the fact that this is an election year. But the cool thing was kind of that he acknowledged that early on with the album art in the way that this is done here. That's actually a sort of recreation of the famous portrait of President John F. Kennedy. So we've got John doing that pose for the album cover. And so, you know, as this was happening, though, knowing that this was going to be that more political album, more social issues and societal issues crept in as he was doing this. But it's not the first time that John has dealt with topics of this nature. If we go back and we look at past songs like Runaway, Keep the Faith, Dry County, Hey God, they've all touched on things like this, and but of course never to this degree and never this poignant either. This is arguably the band's most unique album in my opinion, certainly nothing like it in their catalog. And you might even argue that this is their most important album, as these topics are meant to draw attention and bring more light to these issues. And certainly with the size of a band like Bon Jovi is, they're able to do something like that. And I'm certainly seeing it with in the reviews and news interviews and that kind of stuff. It is bringing more attention to these topics, which is a good thing. So the album as a whole is 10 tracks. It's 48 minutes long. Of interesting note, there are no typical love songs on the album. Because of that, it shapes the album in a unique, typical way, unlike most Bon Jovi albums that are filled with love songs. Track one on here, Limitless, the song that kicks off the album, it's in a very modern rock, typical Bon Jovi style for that. It's one song, though, that, you know, while most stylistically a Bon Jovi song, lyrically it's sort of out of phase with the rest of the album, as it doesn't touch on any current events like the rest of the album does. But it's really strong, and you know, maybe we need that song in order to draw us in for what's coming next on the rest of the album. And so track two on here, Do What You Can, this is one of the two new songs that John had written during the lockdown, and it documents a very moving account of the events as the pandemic first unfolded. and it was first performed as part of the Jersey for Jersey benefit to raise money for essential workers. And at the time, it had been just written for the show, but of course, later on, the band would record a full band version of the song. Most recently, they've reunited with Jennifer Nettles, the country artist, and recorded a country-tinged version of the song, similar to their Grammy-winning #1 hit, Who Says You Can't Go Home, off of the Have a Nice Day. So if you really enjoyed that particular song, there's a version of this one that, Do What You Can, that you can check out as well. There's a video for it on YouTube. And for me, it's the strongest song on the album. Track 3, American Reckoning, is the second of the 2 songs that were written during the lockdown. So you get those in 1-2 fashion right there. And it chronicles the murder of George Floyd, the civil unrest that took place after it. And obviously a very sensitive topic, but I feel that the lyrics are done quite reverently. And then we've got track 7 on here, Lower the Flag. It's about the many mass shootings like at Columbine, Sandy Hook. And then track 10, Unbroken, which was written about the hardships faced by military veterans following their return from active service. And it addresses both the physical wounds, but also the mental wounds. And again, another song that's attempting to shine a light on an often overlooked subject. So let's take a look at this. Here's the front cover, and as I mentioned, that's the John F. Kennedy portrait pose that John Bon Jovi's doing here. And we've got the back side there with the 2020 on it. One thing I will say, I never really like it when they don't have any logo or anything like that on the front. There is a sticker that this comes with, like this, that has it, but then when that's peeled off, you do get, the full view of what the album is, but nothing that references back to Bon Jovi, and I kind of missed that aspect of it, but just a personal comment there. And then here's the inside of it. We pop that out, another shot of John there wearing some strange looking glasses. Not sure how that ties into things. Let's pull out the booklet. Here's the front cover of that. And we've got the lyrics and everything on the inside here. But what I do like is there's a lot of great photos. And so this one first off here has the 5 sort of official members of the band. But as we go through it, we get individual shots of everyone. And we get, more shots of John. But we also get pics of, there's a really great one here, of the 2 other side members that are playing on this album and on their last tour. So that's kind of cool. And of course, we see them all in the studio there, which is a church, which is very interesting. And the thank yous here in the back. And then there's the shot of all the guys here. 2 additional guys, this guy here and this one here, who are, not necessarily official members, but certainly appearing in the videos, appearing with them on tour. When they list the credits for the album, they are listed directly in line, but it doesn't say Bon Jovi and then list all the people. And of course, there are separate shots of the band Bon Jovi without those 2 members. So not exactly sure what's happening there, but interesting nonetheless that they are getting representation and seeing who everyone is. So, all right, bottom line on this album here. While I would have loved a few more, extra songs, including the 2 songs that were left off of this album, I do think that it's actually just the right length, that you don't get worn out before it hits the end. And it's probably why at the end of this album, I can actually start this over and just immediately start listening to it again, because it hasn't worn out its welcome. And, despite the subject matter on here being of sensitive nature, I think John deals with it very respectably. And then within that, he actually oftentimes is able to find a very positive, uplifting message, to pull from it, so that the song itself isn't just leaving you in this sort of dour down, feeling once having heard the subject matter. You can actually walk away from it feeling uplifted, which I find quite interesting as something that, as a lyricist, John is able to do with this. And so for me, at least, it makes the listening experience very heartfelt, very memorable, And John sure has come a long way from that 80s rockers that we all started out with. And for me at least, I'm ready to go on this journey with him. I'm ready to see where this takes us and what comes in the future from this. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. I hope everyone has a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.